It's been a while. I can't remember the last time I sat to do a long form content. I enjoy long form, okay? I've had to do short form content for a while, and even before that, no content for a long time because my schedule was so packed up. This felt like a nice video to shoot in long form, and so here I am. Hello and welcome everyone. If you're an old viewer, I'm glad to have you back on my channel. If you're a new viewer, I make content on self-love, mindsets, and personal growth. Today's video is going to be about all the things that the internet tells you to buy into, but you needn't really buy into. The first thing that I want to start off with is overconsumption. My god, the haul culture. If you have been seeing influencers out here, you know that hauls are everything. Every second month there's a sale. Influencers go crazy hauling things and telling you that this is a must buy and you should have that and you should have this. And it's very easy to sit here and make this video and talk to you and pretend like I don't fall prey to all of these things. I most definitely 80 to 90% of the times fall prey to all of the things that the internet tells me I should have. I think where I luck out is despite me falling prey to all of the things that the internet says that I should have, a lot of the times I don't have the budget for all of these really expensive things. So even though I want to, I can't really get it. Okay. One thing that you'll notice that if you have one watch or one soap or one of anything, it's not enough. The internet will definitely ask you to have backups of one thing that you can easily do with. Nobody really normalizes running out of something and then realizing you don't have it and then going out to buy it. You need to have backups of it. And what's even more welcome is you having an alternate, something from a different brand but does the same thing and probably is more expensive. It doesn't make a lot of sense logically. Then comes the upgrade. The internet will have you convinced that everything needs a upgrade. Your skin needs an upgrade, your hair needs an upgrade, your wardrobe needs an upgrade, your career needs an upgrade, your friends need an upgrade, everything around you needs an upgrade. Okay, it doesn't matter if you're happy with where you're at. For instance, if you're happy with your wardrobe and you're happy with the two outfits and rotating between the two outfits, and God forbid you have a washing machine at home, or let's say you decide hand wash your clothes and alternate between the two clothings, then oh my god, you are probably the most unhygienic person that lived on earth and you don't have clothes to wear, is the impression. That's not really the case. You don't need to buy into it. I'm not saying that upgrades are bad. For instance, let's say that the phone that you're working with isn't really working. It's dying on you. It's better to have an upgrade before it dies on you and you're in some sort of an emergency than to not have upgraded at all because someone on the internet said that upgrades aren't important. See, you need to prioritize and figure out which aspect and area of your life needs an upgrade. Not everything needs an upgrade. Even with makeup influencers, skincare influencers, that'll tell you that your skin needs a pick-me-up, your hair needs a pick-me-up. It doesn't. If you already have decent hair and skin, why would you need to spend ton of more money on it to make it look similar? Or just like 10% better? If it's not making a huge difference, why fall for it? And this you can apply to like houses, cars, watches, anything at all. My second beef with the internet is making everything an aesthetic. If you're not posting about the work that you're doing on yourself online, you aren't really doing anything. If you're going to the gym, you need to post about it. If you're going to therapy, you need to post about it. If you're enjoying the festivities, you need to post about it. Everything needs to be a post, and my god, is it exhausting. I've had people question me on some of the extracurricular classes that I would enjoy partaking in, and they would come up to me and ask me, hey, I haven't seen you post about this for a long time. Do you not do it anymore? I'm like, no, I just haven't posted about it. But it's not like I'm not doing it anymore. The internet will have you believe that if you're not posting about something, you're not doing it right. I have so much of anxiety thinking that so many people around me are filming their fitness journey and I should too. And the problem with that is when you start filming everything, no, the intent shifts, because now it's about the other people, how you need to show to other people the life that you're leading and not the activity in itself which was bringing you joy and peace. And don't even ask me to get into the security threats that it poses, because so many people are posting real time. Do you realize that? I remember breaking news on how the Rebel Kid was told after she was on this Late show. She made a video talking about how she made a home tour once and now people know where she lives, and she had threats online of how people wanted to come inside her house and attack her. Everybody is posting real time about everything, their home tours, their bedroom tours, their society tours. Everybody knows everything. People know which day is your hair wash day. People know which gym you go to, what time you show up at this particular gym to. Everything is online. And for people who don't live and breathe online, my god, it's just a bad time to be living in. The third thing that I want to talk about is enjoying keeping your own company. I don't see a lot of people enjoying their own company out of choice and not compulsion. I'm not talking about being introverted and awkward here, okay? I'm talking about people who really enjoy being amongst people but choosing not to, because bad company never really benefited anyone in the long run. So if today we have a trade off, let's say I'm feeling lonely today, and the trade off is that I'm going to spend time in technically pathetic company to feel less alone, and then I'm going to come back and feel even more worse long term because this company didn't really do anything for me. It didn't feed my soul, it didn't make me feel good about myself, and it just made me compare myself to others in the worst possible way. I feel like the trade off that our generation has settled for is this: more times at clubs, more time out partying. And I'm not saying these are things that shouldn't be indulged in. Go have fun, go do your thing. But the thing is that there's a lot of time that we spend simply on screens and simply amidst the noise. There's so much clutter around us digitally and physically in terms of people and choices that we make in life that we just don't value quiet time anymore, in our own company, just sitting in silence, not doing anything, just staring off blankly, sitting with our thoughts, good or bad. Just sitting with it and seeing where our thoughts lead, or just enjoying a book. And my god, do I have difficulty picking up something and reading. Screens really affect you. The noise really affects you. Nobody is really talking about that anymore, but everybody is talking about the next cool spot that you should be photographed at or be seen at. I feel like our generation views keeping our own company as somebody who's socially awkward, as somebody who doesn't know how to talk to people, and that just might not be the case and might just be a person's choice. And I feel like since we are perceived like that, we're so hesitant to make that choice. And we hang out in large groups that we don't connect with. We all crave for validation in social settings, and that's valid. But I feel like the time that we are living in now has made it even more complex because there's so much of validation to be sought on screen that we often feed our soul with the wrong things. And we fall prey to it again and again and again. It's like a vicious circle out there. The fourth thing that I want to talk about is something that all of you here might be able to relate to, is flaking on plans and ghosting. And I feel like our generation aces it. Let's say you've invited someone to your house. First of all, nobody really invites people to their house anymore. It's a lot of, hey, let's hang out at this cafe. And that's fair. You get to decide where you want to invite somebody. But I'm just saying that in our parents' generation or a generation before that, there used to be this entire culture around inviting guests home and, hosting them. And it used to be this thing. In our generation, that's just not a thing anymore. There's a lot of people flaking out on you at the last minute without good notice time. Let's say I've invited you for tea or snacks, and you tell me the afternoon that you won't be able to make it. That's not good notice time. If you plan on not attending somebody's invite, you should let them know a day in advance. And I feel like our generation has become so good at just not even bothering to let the person know in advance that they won't be able to see them or meet them or come to their event that they've planned. RSVPing should be brought back in trend, is what I'm saying. Because our generation doesn't understand that. You'll ghost people mid conversation, you won't show up to invites, you won't show up at something that your friend called, and it's just a last minute WhatsApp text that the person could have easily missed because they were busy preparing to host you. I feel like the decent way to cancel on someone is to give them a good call and tell them why you shouldn't be there. And I think this was a lot better in the previous generation because they didn't have WhatsApp or texts that you could easily miss. They would call and let them know beforehand that, hey, I'm not being able to make it. Or even before that, they would probably write and say that, hi, I'm not able to be there at your invite, at your wedding, but you have my blessings. That's just not in anymore. And I don't think I like that in our generation. I don't like that the internet makes all of these cool words like flaking out and ghosting, like that is something that should be celebrated. One more point before I move on to the next point about flaking and ghosting is that I'm glad we are asserting our boundaries. But there's a way to do that, and that doesn't always need to come at the cost of the other person. Okay, the last point that I'm about to make is probably the most controversial, which is why I saved it for the last. I'm a little nervous to talk about this because it's more of a personal opinion, but I don't know if you relate, man. The last point is basically about relationships, okay, and how there is so less of a connection to be felt in terms of romantic relationships. Our generation is a pro at situationships, at benching, at breadcrumbing, at what are these other words? I don't even know. There's so many lingos now with dating, and I'm a Gen Z and I can't keep track because I don't live like a Gen Z in certain aspects of my life. And this is one of them. I don't get all of this. Our generation just doesn't understand quoting somebody. You know how you would see, if you watch Bridgerton, you know what I'm talking about. Ladies would have these gentleman callers at their home. He comes at your home, he quotes you, he woos you, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But at least there's more connection. There are love letters, there are flowers, and our generation just doesn't have that. Sure, we're celebrating giving ourselves flowers, but most of the times people turn up at dates without flowers. You don't really need to show up with a really expensive gift, just flowers would do. Just flowers would really do. And I don't think our generation gets that anymore. This is definitely not child appropriate. If you're below 18, please don't watch this part of the video. There are so many people in our generation who are going to grow up without love letters. They're going to grow up with texts like Wine Dine 69 or Wham Bam, thank you, ma'am. Just a lot of the connection is lost in romancing that way because we don't even romance anymore. People in our generation are busy with the business that we do in sheets, and people aren't really concerned about what happens here anymore. And I feel that's why when people are dating somebody, trying to connect with somebody, they just don't feel a connection anymore. The world around you is operating at a different frequency. So if in this generation you're sitting and expecting to find a dinosaur love where you exchange letters and hold hands and lovely words exchanged, that just doesn't happen anymore. This is where I envy the last generation, because they had sincere lovers. I don't feel like they had seen as much of a ghosting or flaking or like situationships like our current generation does. I think that they felt more of a connection. Think about our grandparents, man. They would write to each others. When was the last time you held a pen and wrote anything, let alone to anybody but for yourself? Tell me I'm wrong. I know I'm not. My next one, I'm thinking how I could do a take on how to battle all of these. If you're interested in knowing how I, as a Gen Z, stay relevant in this generation and try not to fall prey to all of this, I'm not saying that I don't ever, I do. I would love to make a video on that, on how to cope with certain things while living and breathing in this generation, enjoying the perks but not falling prey to things that you don't want to fall prey to. Okay, I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye. Take care.